let everyone else trickle in and miss out on what is going to be a very interesting performance, I assure you. So our first performer is bass trombonist, dancer, actor C. Neil Parsons. He's been pioneering interdisciplinary performance practices for 2 decades. His creative output runs the gamut of music, theater, and dance productions, and extensive touring has taken him to 40 states, with performances at major performing arts centers, fringe theater festivals, residencies at universities, and guest engagements with symphony orchestras. Neil can be found performing with his hybrid arts ensemble, The Fourth Wall, collaborating with dancing musicians such as flutist Zara Lawler, or the new music trio Sputterbox, or teaching for Boston Conservatory at Berklee's Contemporary Theater BFA program. Please welcome Neil.
Subadobe, sobi, dobi dobi, so sobi, sabaduba, bibadubi, sobi, saba, sobi. Subadobe, Sobe, Subadobe, Sobe, Sobe, Sabaduba, Bibadoobie, Sobe, 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 Saba, Sobe, Sobe.
Everybody now.
So, B. So, B. So, B. Subadobe.
Well, that's a fairly ridiculous piece of theater, as you've now discovered. But much of that was at least suggested by the composer and embellished by me. This next piece that I'd like to do may or may not be familiar to you. This is the Treatise by Cornelius Cardew, which is a graphic score notorious for having no indication of how to interpret the pages. So there are 193 pages of lines, circles, shapes, some numbers, some musical-ish markings, but no instructions or key for how to interpret the piece, which means that the treatise is an invitation to do something. And Cardew is after a sort of musical innocence, the kind of creativity that is not usually encumbered by musical training or a specific thought in mind for what the end result should be. So it really is an open-ended invitation to create something, which I take liberally to create something that is choreographic as well as musical. So this is my realization of several of the pages from Cornelius Cardew's treatise. Actually, I can't do this next one due to limitations of the space, and well, I'll tell you about it. So it starts out with me up in this position, actually right there, playing sort of a retrograde version of Flight of the Bumblebee, really, really slowly, but very, very softly. And then I'm hoisted in the air by an apparatus that then carries me around the stage, flying, hovering over the space very gracefully while playing very softly and delicately. And then here, about here, we have a holographic 3D videographic representation of sort of a stop motion animation of Mrs. Greenwell's 3rd grade class reconstructing the London Underground using plastic straws. And we're just captivated by the detail connecting each of the tubes to all the other tubes, when suddenly, without warning, through the doors comes the Manchester, New Hampshire Ultimate Frisbee team. They're called the Scarecrows. They're awesome. If you're local, you should join them. It's a lot of fun. But they come in, and they're not tossing a Frisbee around, but like this giant hoop-looking thing with a mesh drawn across it. It kind of looks like it would be a screen door from a submarine. So they're tossing this big thing around, all around the room. We've got the hologram here. I'm still flying above, oblivious to what's going on. And then, is there someone here with contacts? Anyone wearing contacts? Yes. So, sorry to say, but the giant Frisbee hits you in the face, and Kristen's contact lens flies forward and lands on the stage. And then everyone, of course, is very helpful and comes to look for the contact lens. And we have sort of a slow motion procession of people circling the stage, looking for the contact lens. The contact lens is still rolling somewhere. We just barely hear it because I'm so quietly hovering above. And everyone is very attentive. And then the Scarecrows start tossing the Frisbee while leaping over all of the contact lens searchers. And all of this is happening so quietly, so as not to wake the baby elephant.